I think we could give this a bit more oxygen, this conversation, because it is such an important one. It's not just in reference to Grenfell Tower and whether the survivors there should be given more than what I think is the rather paltry 12 months offered by the government, a 12-month immigration amnesty. Also, I think we can broaden it out a little. And to what extent you think we should be looking for those people who've lived and worked in this country illegally for many years, whether perhaps we should start to think of giving them an amnesty? Or do you think that would encourage others? Such an important question right now, not just in this country, but in Europe, as we deal with mass migration, mass attempts by refugees, either for economic reasons or reasons of war, trying to get into this continent. And I want to know where you stand on it all. It's beginning to be a bit of a split, or maybe not even just beginning, to be a split between Eastern Europe and Western Europe as far as attitudes towards border controls are concerned. And I'd be interested to hear your view. Mark is in Tunbridge Wells. The survivors of Grenfell Tower, do you think they should be given more than 12 months immigration amnesty if indeed they aren't here legally, or if indeed their right to remain here is about to run out?
You know, I've never heard, if ever the people that rule over us, that are in power, if ever someone needed to say to these people, you haven't got you haven't got a clue, in a swearing, you haven't got a clue what it's like to be a desperate person, and to even just come out and say, oh, we'll let you stay for a year. You know, in a normal, nice, decent country, you'd say, you can stay here as long as you like. We'll educate you. We'll make sure your health's okay. We'll give you counselling. And the fact that you was living in a death trap in the first place is just so disgusting in a rich, powerful country that you should have been. You've gone through that. That it is just so disgusting that in a nice, decent country, we'd all queue up and say, look, let's go and take Parliament down brick by brick. Let's hang the MPs because they're the most disgusting people. That all they can say. Well, no,
we've got to be very careful, but we have to part ways on the language you just used. Yeah, I know you didn't mean it literally, but of course, after the terrible murder of the MP Joe Cox last year, we really shouldn't be using language like that.
I'm just being facetious and saying, in a revolution, you'd actually say to these people, you know, that is a terrible, terrible thing to say. You know, after what these people have been through, no one's actually saying. It's the modern day equivalent of the Titanic, and to even suggest. And for me, over the years, seeing friends of mine that drive lorries coming through Calais, seeing the ghastly situation that people that are in a safe country have spent years coming through, and it's been a really, really good earner for a lot of people. It's been a gravy train. The border agency over there in Calais tonight, staying in the best hotel in the world. There's plenty of sprinklers in the hotel where they're staying, while people are brutalised out on the streets by the French riot police. The lorry drivers are at the mercy of the mob, and no one ever says, you're working and paying taxes for this thing to go on. These people shouldn't have got here in the first place. For goodness sake, it's an island where the reason we won the Second World War is we kept the Germans at bay because it's an island, and it's been a scam. And now that people reach here, we should say, if you do reach here, you know, there's a total amnesty for life, and it's an absolute faux pas by the government.
Mark, thank you so much. So you would actually like to see a wider amnesty if you have actually ended up on these shores. Well, that is a controversial comment. I absolutely agree with you to suggest that those at Grenfell should be allowed to stay longer for 12 months, if indeed that was your point. But on a wider amnesty, interesting, do you think we should be giving wider amnesty to people who have lived here, maybe for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, worked, lived here illegally, contributed to society in their own way? I want to hear your view.